So welcome back to 90-ish second hacks, and today we're looking at frame rates. We're going to make this one quick because, as you can see, it's like -2 at the moment, snow all around me, and 90 second hacks is the title, so we're going to try and make this quick as possible. It's a topic that is not easy to do in 90 seconds, as I'm sure you can imagine, but this is going to be the basics. It's going to help you, if you don't know anything about frame rates, hopefully give you a bit of an understanding as to what is frame rates. So 90 seconds on the clock, let's go from the top, let's go. Okay, so point number one, we have to discuss what is a frame. So a frame is basically a still image. One still image makes up one frame. When you put a series of frames together, you get, moving footage, or a video if you will. So I don't know if you remember when you were a child, you had like these little flip books where you would draw a series of pictures and then you would put them together and you flip the book and it would look like it was moving. That's basically what a frame is when it's put in a sequence of frames. Now we can have different types of frame rates, and different frame rates are used for different purposes. In Hollywood you will see 24 frames per second used, which is often your creamy looking, smooth type of footage. And you've got 30 frames per second, which is used for television and TV, and that is often used on a daily basis. So your eyes probably recognize 30 frames per second more than anything else. And your higher frame rates, such as 60, 120, 240 as it goes up, is often used in sports and for the ability to slow down the footage in post to give that slow motion type of footage. So those are your different types of frame rates. So if we have filmed in 24 frames per second, we need to make sure that the timeline that we put our footage in can accommodate that footage. That make sense? I think it does. So if I've got a timeline that's 24 frames per second and I film in 24 frames per second, then as you can imagine, each frame will be accounted for in that timeline and fit perfect. It's like having a bookshelf with space for 10 books and I put 10 books in, everyone's happy. If I, however, have a 30 frame per second clip and I put that into a 24 frame per second timeline, and that's when you start to get a bit of issues where you've got extra frames and they need to be dropped in order to fit. So 6 books get kicked off the shelf, but you get an uneasy, unsmooth, jittery type of footage, and that is, I'm sure you've seen it, this doesn't look good. Let's say I've got a 60 frames per second clip and I want to put that into a 30 frames per second timeline. What that means is that I've got double the amount of frames that will fit into that timeline, but that then will enable me to be more flexible with that footage because I can slow it down by 50%, and then that will mean each frame will be accounted for, but it'll be double the length because I've got 60 frames out of 30. It's kind of like basic maths. So that means that footage now becomes a slow motion footage because I've got extra frames, longer length, and it just fits nicely. So yeah, that was an extremely quick introduction to frame rates. I'm sure many of you know how frame rates work, so this was probably a bit of like a how to suck eggs. Is that the phrase? Sucking eggs. I think that's the phrase. So I hope those of you who didn't know anything about frame rates got something from this. If I need to make a longer video explaining a bit more, I can do, but this was just a quick walk. I wanted to show you guys what frame rates were. So I hope you are all good. I will see you guys next week for more 90-ish second hacks, and hopefully it'll be a bit warmer than it is now. So yeah, peace.